headlines that we're following on this Sunday. Pentagon officials say the U.S. has caused severe damage to Iran's nuclear program after a military strike on 3 facilities. We know more than 125 U.S. military aircrafts were involved in what's called Operation Midnight Hammer. It was the largest B-2 strike in history. Now, people of the local Iranian community here in the Delaware Valley are speaking out about the strikes. NBC 10's Isabel Sanchez has more on their reaction. Isabel, what are we hearing tonight?
Well, Johnny, Homeland Security is warning of a heightened threat environment here in the U.S. following the airstrikes in Iran. Here in our area, many with ties to the region are closely watching the developments overseas.
There are a lot of complicated feelings and emotions and even just like thoughts around this.
It's a difficult time for Iranian Americans like Puria Parsa, born in Iran and now living in Philadelphia for the past 10 years. He says his family in Iran is safe, but the situation back home is far from simple.
Our concern right now is for lack of gas, lack of food for all of these people who are fleeing all of the different regions and coming to north of the country. The problem is regime has cut off the internet, so it's been extremely difficult for almost everyone outside the country to reach out to their families.
Parsa says he doesn't speak for all Iranians, but many, like him, feel trapped, caught between what he describes as an oppressive regime and escalating external threats.
Nothing justifies the death of innocent people, of civilian life. So this is also really heartbreaking. And what is also heartbreaking for us is it kind of seems like on both sides.
On Sunday, U.S. officials revealed details of Operation Midnight Hammer. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the airstrikes targeted nuclear facilities in Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan in central Iran, with over 125 aircraft involved, including B-2 bombers.
As President Trump has stated, the United States does not seek war. But let me be clear. We will act swiftly and decisively when our people, our partners, or our interests are threatened.
Military analyst, retired Colonel Rick Kiernan says the strike was strategic, avoiding civilian areas.
So I think by taking out the nuclear weapon sites, those 3 sites, it's going to be a long pause, and I think they will probably have no choice but to negotiate or talk.
Across social media, politicians reacted swiftly. Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman calling it the correct move by President Trump. Republican Representative Brian Fitzpatrick agreeing, adding, a nuclear Iran is an existential threat not just to Israel, but the entire free world. But others like Democratic Representative Hakeem Jeffries warned that the risk of war has now dramatically increased. Here in Philadelphia, some community organizations are planning a protest tomorrow at 4 p.m. near City Hall. I'm Isabel Sanchez, NBC 10 News.
All right, Isabel, thank you. And protests over the U.S. strikes on Iran erupted around the country today. In Washington, D.C., anti-war protesters gathered in front of the White House, waving signs and chanting, quote, "No war on Iran." Now, this is one of more than a dozen protests organized by activist groups. Organizers say they are against the escalating tensions in the Middle East and the U.S. getting involved in a conflict between Israel and Iran.